And welcome back to the channel. Man, there's not a day that goes by where I don't see some ridiculous ass article or something that's happening in Hollywood, something that's happening in sports, like something going on around the world where I just have to stop and look at it and just realize, wow, the propaganda machine is just in full fledged, all speeds a go, all speeds ahead, wherever the term is. I, so obviously you can see the title of this article. First, realize that it's fox13news.com. Then it says published 22 hours ago. Fox 13 Tampa Bay. Title clearly says how phones can alert you to COVID-19 exposure. Cool. That's not sketchy at all. But let's look into this article. Here, right in bold letters, right? Nope. Shouldn't highlight because I don't know what I'm doing clearly. Los Angeles, Tampa Bay, Los Angeles. Who wrote the article? Right? It just says published, but who wrote the article? Is it a software program? We're talking about some lower form of AI. Is it just anonymous? I don't like who wrote the article. And we scroll all the way down, just tons of ads because, Lord forbid, like I can't just look at anything without being sold a bunch of shit about everything else in the world because I definitely need progressive insurance. Because, hey, I mean, it's COVID-19, right? So I need all types of insurance. Not medical insurance, but progressive insurance. Oh, gotta have my mask. They killed me with this shit, man. But anyway, I was trying to point out, like, there's no references. There might be some hyperlinks within the article, but we'll see that as we scroll through. I kind of already read it already. So we'll stop at the top. Start at the top. Man, I got another video for later on today too that I'll probably upload. I'll probably record right after this and upload it. So be on the lookout for that because I'm just in full stun mode this morning. Okay, so it says more than 8.1 million people in the U.S. have turned their iPhones and Android devices into pandemic contact tracing tools. I can't even say that word because I clearly just read contract. I read some type of contract. They want you to give up consent. But anyways, contact tracing tools, but it hasn't been of much use when their neighbors, classmates, and coworkers aren't on the same system. So go ahead and blame everybody else around you for not being able to have contact tracing to track everybody. Like they want you to be mad at everyone you know in your social circle because they can't be contact. It's a contract. I just cannot get over it. It says Apple and Google co-created exposure notification technology to alert phone users if they spent time near someone who tests positive for the coronavirus, so they know to get tested too. Apple and Google just decided to, I don't know, come together, right? Sing kumbaya, hold hands, create this new form of technology that they already had. Co-created, they're sharing data. Co-created, they're literally sharing data. That's it. Exposure notification technology. You mean tracking? 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 Something that you already been doing. Something that Facebook, Google, Android, Apple, Snapchat, all these tech companies have already been known in the media. Different, I want to say civil lawsuits, I can't remember, or at least class action lawsuits where, hey, you guys are giving up people's privacy. You're collecting people's data. Cambridge Analytical, but whatever. It says it's built with tight privacy restrictions to maintain users' anonymity. Tight privacy restrictions. Come on, man. You're doing contact tracing. Just because you don't have the direct information of the phone user out there on the internet, maybe on the dark web, but they don't have it right out there on the internet for us regular people to see it. Doesn't mean anything, because we know the government has access to it. We know they allow them. The fact that was the case, that they allow the government want to have backdoor access to iPhones. We're just going to ignore Eric Snowden and the whole fact that, I don't know, NSA is tracking us, that they're listening, that our phones and our computers, our laptops, all these electronic devices are all listening. Then I think I seen something not too long ago about your Samsung TV listening to you. Sony PlayStation recording messages, recording voice messages and stuff. But whatever, it says so far 16 U.S. states plus Guam and Washington, D.C., because Washington, D.C. is not part of the United States of America, and more than 30 countries have made the exposure notification system available to their residents. How does it work? The technology relies on Bluetooth short-range radio signals. So you want to tell me that if I have my phone, if any device I have that has Bluetooth, if I have it turned on, that means that it's transmitting a radio signal that can be tracked? Who's to say I can't go on the dark web, deep web, whatever you want to call it, Silk Road, hell, who knows, and find a software to hack someone's phone through the Bluetooth? Is there encryption in the Bluetooth technology? Does your phone have some type of encryption set up already? Why do these questions even have to be asked? It says most states measures that close contact as within 6 feet for at least 15 minutes in a day. So make sure you're 6 feet apart, so we can have the contact tracing. I don't know where we're going with this, man. I'm sure there'll be that one person that comments and stuff like, oh, we need this and blah blah. Okay, I'm sorry. Excuse me for being a little skeptical, because time and time again, everybody's lying. Media, politicians, presidents, governments, celebrities, athletes, your friends, your family members, everybody's lying about something. Excuse me for being a little skeptical. I mean, I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but you you make an article titled "How Phones Can Alert You to COVID-19 Exposure," then you're talking about, but we're protecting your privacy rights. We're trying to make sure that, we don't give away your actual location. It says those wireless customers, the kind that might happen between, those wireless encounters, I've clearly messed up. I'm all over the place. Those wireless encounters, the kind that might happen between strangers on a train or in a crowded store, are randomly generated into keys and temporarily logged. Temporarily logged. In a way that doesn't reveal a person's identity or geographic location. Now, I advise anyone and everyone to go read the little exposure notification and the privacy things within your Apple iPhones and your Android devices. And as you're reading it, pay attention to how long the shit is. Because it's crazy that you got to have tons and tons of words and paragraphs to basically tell me that I'm not tracking you. Because if you're not tracking me, that's all you got to say. I don't know why you need so many words to explain something. Why is this shit not cut and dry? Why do I have to go through all these different things? Why do I have to read tons of privacy agreement and stuff to figure out that you're not giving my information out? You can't just tell me and stick to it. Why is there all this seemingly type of verbiage where you kind of, leave things open for a loophole? It says when one person tests positive for the virus. Actually, before I let me finish the rest of the little paragraph. It says temporarily logged in a way that doesn't reveal a person's identity or geographic location. It doesn't reveal a person's identity or geographic location. So all it's saying is it won't give your exact identity or the exact geographical location. Doesn't mean you can't write an algorithm. You can't use some mathematical computations to figure out where someone's at and figure out who this person is. All of you have at some point in time been on social media trying to figure out what your spouse or significant other is doing. And you hit all these investigative skills and look up different things on social media and the internet to figure out one thing about a person, who they're with. And you can track their location and figure all the stuff out. So if you're motivated to do that, and Apple, these big tech corporations, not private, they're public, but these big tech corporations and in association and with through government use, you telling me they can't figure out who you are if they need to? To go on, it says when one person tests positive for the virus and state health workers verify the diagnosis, others who recently spent time near the infected person get an automatic alert. That also comes with advice from your state health agency about how to get tested and avoid spreading the disease. In a way that doesn't reveal a person's identity or geographic location. Like I said, we don't know specifically who you are, but also we're not saying that we can figure it out as well if we choose to. Or if some entity chooses to that has access to the temporary logged generated keys. That's randomly generated keys. That's a kind of an IT term. Basically, that's what passwords are about and stuff. It goes on to talk about where you can use it at. Then it talks about what if you cross borders, if you travel between the places where the technology is activated. In most cases, it doesn't matter that you're using your home state's app. It still tracks if you've been exposed elsewhere. It still tracks, but it's not. Don't worry, it's not giving up your geographic location, even though it's tracking you. It's not giving up your location. Do people not understand this? Like, because we regular people, for the most part, have good intentions, and we want to believe people around us have good intentions, or at least good intentions in the sense of you don't want to invade my privacy. You don't want to try to figure where I'm at. They're hiding this in the disguise of, we just want to stop the spread of this and that. Okay, why now? Why this year? Why not the same thing with the flu? Why not the same thing with common cold? Hell, why not tracking people with STDs, HIV? How come not that? Why not those things? Why now? And that's why you have to ask yourself, why now? Because we know COVID-19 is not as deadly as other things in the world. But why are we not tracking and counting other things more deadly? Why this? You have to ask yourself that. And there's nothing wrong with asking the simple questions. It doesn't mean you don't care. In fact, it's the complete opposite. It means you actually do care, because you care so much that you don't want nothing to happen to you, your family, as far as your rights, your liberties, whatever else the case. And you care about your health and the people's health around you, because you just want to ask a question. This ain't conspiracy theories. This is none of that stuff. Just simple, hey, I got a question. What you're saying doesn't make sense. Because what you're saying, you're telling me you're not giving away my geographic location, but you're tracking me at the same time. How can you track me without not knowing my geographic location? Maybe, maybe I'm confused by all this. And I'm okay with that. Because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, kind of scary. It makes me think of the 50 Cent movie, Get Rich or Die Trying. I think it's, I forget that dude's name. But he was in the car talking about, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I'm right. And I should have been wrong, or some shit he said. But it makes me think of that moment. And then it talks about, are there glitches? Yes, some as much tied to human behavior as technology. Users have complained about the process for confirming a case, which can vary by state, but typically relies on a conversation between the infected person and often overwhelm human contact tracing teams. Oh man, God, I don't even know what to do or say anymore. This is borderline insane. Actually, it is insane. This goes beyond logic and reasoning. All this does is fear. All this does is fill onto people's fear emotions, anxiety, depressive state. That's all this is. That's all this is. Guam talks about how much participation makes it effective. Guam officials said they were advised to get 60% of the island territory's adult population using the app for it to be effective. But it's rare for even the best known consumer apps to get that kind of reach. It's almost like, hey, now we're ready for our live beta test. Let's see how it goes. And we'll perfect it over time. It's a living, breathing, working technology that will constantly keep improving. They're just testing it, trying to perfect their method. I lived in Guam for 2 years. I was there. I was stationed at Anderson Air Force Base. The island, I believe, is about 30 miles long, 15 miles across. Do you necessarily need contact tracing on an island that small? Is that actually necessary? Because no matter what, guess what? Everybody's stuck there for the most part. Because you ain't leaving unless there's a plane. And trust me, you're not leaving unless there's a plane. You're out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. You're not going nowhere. Unless you got a plane or a boat. Obviously a boat as well, because there's a Navy base too, towards the south of the island. What do you need contact tracing there for? Everybody's there. Oh, what? You get on a plane or a boat? Oh, let's make sure that you're not exposed. Okay, then how about you just go from that and that's it? I mean, yeah, you're not worried about somebody being sick of the common flu or a common cold or the flu, but no worry. Just checking. Just checking. I can walk around with STDs, but no one says anything. Just checking. That's fine. Okay. Oh man, that's pretty much it of the article, man. Like I said, there's gonna be that one person or probably multiple people in the comment section and be like, oh, well, we gotta do this for this reason, blah, blah. Okay. But once again, I say, that's what they said in March. That's what they've been saying earlier on in the year. Why do they keep trying to ramp things up? If the number of cases are increasing, at the same time, we know that these tests are not that great. A lot of false positives. The death numbers did not reach 1 million like they said it would, or whatever astronomical number they were bringing up in their so-called simulations and calculations. We should be thinking, oh man, okay, well, things are really working out well, that the masks, the restrictions, the lockdowns, all these things work, so we're doing pretty well. Anytime you read any of these articles, there really is no positive information. They're trying to portray a false hope. And I say a false hope because the hope comes in part of you giving up some type of freedom or some type of right, some type of liberty. You giving up, hey, allowing yourself to be tracked. Hey, allowing yourself to stay at home. Why do you have to give up something in order to receive some type of hope? Does that even work that way? These are just simple questions. I'm just asking. That's all. I'm just asking. Because I feel like these should be open discussions where we think. And I'm not attacking nobody's beliefs or ideologies or even politics. At least for the most part in this video. But all I'm questioning is, there seems to be no end to any of this, even though we dealt with other more deadly viruses. And that's by the own CDC standards. What I'm talking about comes from the CDC website, from the government website, from the NIH website. I'm reading their website, getting their information. So what's going on here? That is a real question. And if you think about it, you'll find the answer. So until next time, which basically will be later on today, because I got another video coming up for some shit that just blew my mind. I'll be popping out more information and dropping another video. So until next time.